What's up, everybody, and welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I'm always happy to be here with you inside of our Pacer Pride specials. This is exclusive content that we have with the Pacers in our multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood University, my alma mater. And I am elated for the opportunity to jump even deeper into baseball. We've had Jason Thiel, the head coach, on the show for a bunch of times here in this past season, and they tied the record for most wins in a single season for Marywood baseball history with 22. We also had a trio that joined me here to make history as Pacer Pride was picture in picture in picture in picture with Jake's teammates here, as we had Vinny Dioria, Mike Aronica, and Nick Nateri. And now we are here with Jake Schuster, a grad student that played on Marywood's team this past season on this historic run that they had. And of course, somebody who personally also has a lot of accolades to be happy about. So with that being said, I bring in the man of this Pacer Pride spotlight, Jake Schuster. Jake, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, man. And I'm happy to finally get you here on the show. And first and foremost, I do want to give you a massive congratulations for what you've been able to accomplish this season, which has been really incredible. I know the team has done a great job, and at the same time, you've done well as well for yourself. And definitely want to let people know a named first team all region. So congratulations to you for the work that you've put in here as a team and individually, having some wonderful accolades this year.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun this year.
So what can you tell me about that, and what you think landed you on first team all region in your opinion?
I think it was a combination of us playing competitive baseball and me just trying to have fun with it, knowing that it's my last year in the Pacer uniform. It was just one of those years where we kind of went in and we knew we could be pretty good. And then we had a good Florida trip, played good ball, and it was just exciting baseball. And when you play exciting baseball, obviously you're more up for at bats than if you're getting drilled in a game. So it was just knowing that every at bat's crucial. We're in games late in games. And it was, like I said, just a whole combination of all of those things that really helped me excel in my game and our team.
Yeah, and to be able to have more time out there, just what you could say about your college experience in general, because you had multiple seasons where you got to get out there and be a part of this and take advantage of it. So bring me into, and for those that don't know, just what college was like for you to not only be able to play baseball, but to be able to play it with some bonus time on the end.
Well, I'll say that it is an awesome experience to be able to play, it's just any college sport to have, just a group of brothers, honestly, that you can rely on for anything, whether it's baseball, life, school, work, anything at all. And, at D3, it is like a counterbalance of each other. Like you gotta really work through things with playing and then class and stuff like that. But I mean, you get it done. Your teachers they're for the most part, they're fine with all of it. I have heard some horror stories, but I mean, anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's a great experience, and to play those extra 2 years, because I know there really wasn't a time in in 2021 and in this year when I didn't really think about my teammates, my senior teammates in 2020, because of how that year kind of just got taken away. So I was thinking about them all the time when I was out on the field. But I was just really fortunate to be able to play, those next 2 years. Fortunate that they granted eligibility again, and it was just a lot of fun, and I really don't regret it at all.
And getting that extra time, the NCAA allowed that to Division I, II, and III. So, when you take that expansion of it, not something that you would have prepared for in the beginning, but to have something like that, bring me into that. The fact that you said, I don't forget the seniors of 2020 and how important that was. And essentially, they couldn't play, but trying to do something for them or in honor of them. When you get this extra time out there, what did that do for your baseball career, to look back and say, okay, it's a blessing just to play any college sport, but then I got to extend it because of an unfortunate circumstance. One of the positives that came from the pandemic. If there's any positive we can lean on, we can lean on the fact that the NCAA did allow for there to be an extra year, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of it for me playing those extra years was really trying to embrace, obviously, because I was the oldest on the team, but embrace, the seniors of that team and really try to get them to enjoy their time, knowing that, the year is going to fly by, especially with my senior year, how it really did fly by because it was really short. But just getting them to enjoy their time. And then even in 2021, we had a reduced season. We only were allowed 4 non-conference games. And then it was we played 18 conference games. So we played like 21, 22 games, something like that. But even that, I mean, it's a shortened season. You miss out on 15 games. So it's like, that's almost, 33% of a season sometimes. So it was just getting them to enjoy their time and trying to really compete, because we should have been a lot better than we were last year, but no, it was just getting them to enjoy their time, and it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun playing with them. It was definitely different being just the oldest kid on the team, the only 5th year on the team, but it was a time that I won't ever regret playing with them.
And we talk about the fact that you had extra time. You came into Marywood in 2017 and you're finishing up here in 2022. Bring me into that, how the pandemic and just in general, how you received bonus time.
Well, I was like, is enough already? Like, how many more years am I gonna get here? I was actually asking Coach. I was like, Coach, is there a 7th year laying around hiding somewhere?
Yeah.
But no, I was just kind of like, all right, like if I have 1 more year, why not just go play? You've done all this stuff. And I knew too in the back of my mind that I was pretty close to some of the records. And that was really what kind of motivated me to play a 6th year. And also too, that's second to knowing the team and how I knew we could have been, or how we should have been good. We did tie the win record, but a lot of us would say we underachieved based on, playoffs, not making it and whatnot. But no, it was just knowing those things, and it was just the opportunity. And it's just like, you don't ever want to regret not playing. And I kind of was just thinking about that, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Jake Schuster here with us in this edition of Pacer Pride, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You had a historic season with tying the win record with 22, but you also said that there was more left out there. Your teammates echoed that when I spoke with Vinny and Nick and Mike as well. What is it about this season that you can look back on in 2022 and appreciate? And what are the things that you feel like were left on the table?
I think we can appreciate just the whole team camaraderie, because we were always doing stuff, whether we were at baseball, whether it was the freshman kids swiping us in an eat at Naz, whether it was us hanging out at one of the houses that's right nearby. It was just, we were always doing things together. And I think that translated to the field. I think it really kind of, gelled us as a squad. And the things we left out there, I mean, I could literally get nitpicky and tell you about, different opportunities where we didn't hit the ball, we didn't pitch the ball, we didn't feel the ball. But, it's very small. It's a very, very small percentage of times when that happens, because you don't get luck. You don't luck in the 22 wins in a season. Something's got to be going right. But there was a lot, and not to take anything away from our conference is a really legit conference with the competition, especially at the top, that's in it.
Yeah.
But I really do think that we could have won some games, and it was just small things here and there that really could have hit here, a play here, and we would have either won those games or been in those games till the 9th inning.
And you see the success coming off it. You gave respect to the Atlantic East. You have done a lot this season, like you said, coming back and knowing that you're close to different things. I mean, first team all region 5 at first base, Atlantic East Conference Player of the Year, first team all Atlantic East player of the week, Atlantic East Weekly Honor Roll, had the top batting average at 403, slugging percentage at 694, as well as on base percentage of 52.2. In the Atlantic East, you had 50 hits, 10 doubles, 4 triples, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs on the season, and had a fielding percentage of 99.6. So when I read off all of that, what does that say to you that, you give respect to the Conference of the Atlantic East, and you were leading the charge, voted the Atlantic East Player of the Year? Just what that does for you as you wrap up your 17 years as a baseball player at Marywood University.
Well, what's crazy is I honestly, like, it was one of those weird things because I had a really good year my sophomore year. And my sophomore year, I was telling actually my dad, I was like, my sophomore year, it just felt easy. Like I just went out there and I just felt it was like an easy 1, 2, 3 hits a game. Like it was guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then this year in my 6th year, it almost felt like I was just grinding out every at bat, every hit. Every hit was tough. It was always something. It was something here. But a lot of that too goes into, like again in the baseball where like you see a lot more off speed stuff like that. Yeah. But it was a grind this year. It was a lot harder. And I think that the pitching this past year in 2022 was a lot tougher. I mean, there's a lot of great arms in our conference, a lot of great arms. And I just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say got lucky, but I did work really great at bats against a lot of the good arms and just hit their one mistake that they threw against me. And it sometimes happened to be a hit, sometimes, not, but it was just still knowing that I can compete at that level too. It was just the confidence in that.
Knowing how good the pitching was against you, what can you say about what it really was in those moments where you were able to get that hit? Like you said, if they made that one mistake or something of that nature, what can you tell me about your vision and about your timing and different things that just clicked? How much of it is just natural and how much of it is you going out there and practicing and training yourself to it, to have those little tiny, like hair thin moments of being able to know this is when I swing, this is what I need to do. I got to have my eyes right here at this time because this is what this pitcher does. I mean, there's, like you said, you don't make it to 22 wins by accident. Well, you don't make it to what you've done by accident. So what are those moments and those pieces and those really, really intricate kind of, yeah, this is how I did it? What would you put it on?
So what's funny, I'll give you an example. we were down at Cabrini this year, and the first game they threw, actually it was the rookie of the year, Brian Dino, and he's a 6'5" lefty, throws pretty hard, and he just destroyed me in my first at bat. I think it was a quick strikeout. So I was like, all right, it's gonna be a tough day. He's good, he's throwing hard. My second at bat, I go up, and there was just something in my head. I just knew he was going to throw. I just knew he was going to throw a curveball. Like I just knew it. And that's why I went up there. And most coaches will say, "Don't sit curveball. You should sit the fastball because it's the easiest one. It's the straightest one." But I was like, I knew he was going to throw. I just knew it. And he threw me a first pitch curveball, and I hit it over the center field fence. And it was just one of those like holy cow moment. Like, I actually just did that off this kid who, yeah, he's only a freshman and he's going to be insane by the time he's a senior. But he's still a very good pitcher, obviously, in our conference. And I was like, holy cow, like that was insane, because then my next at bat actually struck me out again. And I was like, I mean, still though, 1 for 3 off a lefty with a home run. Like I will take that I will take that to the bank any day of the week, any day of the year. I really will. But it was also different things like Jason Hughes, pitcher of the year. He just dominated with his fastball. He was just really good with his fastball. But I knew that he didn't throw his slider to lefties. And I just knew that in the back of my head when I was up. So I just had to look for anything moving away. And if it was slow or it was a changeup, and my first at bat against him, he left the changeup high and I ripped it in the right for a hit. So it's just, On it, a lot of it is scouting report, like knowing, because when you get in the box, you shouldn't really think. You should just, the only thing you should think about when you're in the box is if you want to swing, and you tell yourself that you want to swing until you don't want to swing.
Yeah. And I think, there's the world of, like you said, going up against the pitchers that you go up against, and having success there from a young pitcher too. How has the game evolved in that respect? I mean, you've been playing for a long time, and you obviously know you can hit, different things that you can do, but how has pitching evolved to continue to challenge a hitter to be able to get after it? Because I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, if there was five guys in the majors that threw 90, 91, you're like, oh, okay. Now it's like on a guy's slow days, oh yeah, 95. So I mean, it's a different world now when it comes to pitching, because pitching has really risen and come to a point where, I mean, I was playing a pickup game after going to school at Marywood. I just played a pickup game with some of the guys that had played at Marywood, and we were just having fun out there. And I hadn't picked up a bat in a long, long time. And I picked it up and I went out there and I said, listen, I'm just going to do the best I can. I mean, this is my first game in over a decade. I played Little League and then I went on to play basketball. So I went out there and, as a favor, and said, hey, you know what? I want to just get a feel for it and see what it's like. And, the first couple pitches came in and I'm looking at them coming by me and I'm going, it's a pickup game and that was fast. Like, what the hell just happened with that ball? So what can you say about how pitching has evolved, and what have you had to do as a hitter to evolve with it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I would say, is more just in sequencing with pitching. It's, some guys, they'll get worked backwards and whatnot. And as a hitter, especially a hitter who hits in kind of the middle of the order, you really have to learn and to train to hit off speed pitches. Like you really, especially for me being left-handed, you have to learn to sit back on a changeup. Like it's just, because if you can't, they're going to see that in your first at bat, and you're just going to get just rained on with changeups just constantly over and over and over again. So it's making adjustments to it's, the fastball, the speed is kind of one of those things that it's always going to be there. So it's just one of those, it's just one of those things, but it's usually pitching and like how accurate the pitchers are, and then how they sequence you. It's learning to hit the different spots of the field based on where they're pitching you, and all that nonsense.
That coming here from Jake Schuster of the Marywood Pacers baseball team here, as we celebrate the season and celebrate what he's done as well personally, as he gets set to move forward after his time at Marywood University. Jake, before I let you go, hindsight 2020, why Marywood? Why did you pick Marywood, and what do you think about that decision?
Well, I just, it's funny. My roommate for 4 years here, Nate Mitchner, he made a recruiting video, and he was a pitcher. And I remember we went and filmed it, and I was his catcher, and he sent it around to different coaches. And then he sent it to Jerry Davis up here at Marywood, and Davis saw it, and he told Nate come up, and he asked him who the catcher was. Can I get his info? Yada, yada, yada. So then that's how I got in contact with Marywood. And then I go up for a visit. I met Coach Thiel and JoJo, and then Coach Davis. And I got the tour from Coach Thiel, and I just loved it. I loved the campus. And I wanted something that was not too close, but not too far for school. And I mean, honestly, you just hop on the turnpike, ride it all the way down to Lansdale, and then you're at my house. So it's really not a bad drive. And what turned out to be was I was athletic training, which is what I wanted to do. And then I switched to exercise science, which it was a great degree, great teachers, all that stuff. So, just met some outstanding people at, the university, and I just wouldn't change it.
So you would choose Marywood all over again if you had the chance?
1,000%.
Jason Thiel, your head coach, only the third coach ever in the history of Marywood baseball. What do you like about how he coaches?
He's very well. The one thing that I love is he's very flexible about schoolwork. Like if you have to get something done, he's very understanding. He's he's to his players' favor. Like he favors his players in terms of, the best practice times, getting in quickly. Not we never have like that 3.5 hour practice. It's always, just quick, refreshing work. And it's work that, keeps us into it, keeps us involved. And, I just think he does great with that.
And Jake, before you came to Marywood and you talk about Lansdale, PA, your hometown, I went to school, high school at North Penn, 2015 PIAA state champion. So before you came to Marywood University, you know what it's like to run the state in Pennsylvania and become a state champion. Looking back on that, what is that moment always going to mean to you? And do you have a memory or two that comes out on that state championship run when I say 2015 PIAA state champs?
That year was crazy. That was a crazy year because we actually set the win record for North Penn too. That year, I think we were 23-4, something like that, and we ended up being ranked like 20th in the country for public schools for Quad A, which was just insane. And I just played with some insane, like, just nutty good teammates. And then, it was really, I remember my first at bat in that game. I was so nervous. I couldn't feel my knees. I didn't know if I was walking up to the plate, just knowing how many people were there, that we were on TV and all that stuff. But it was a great, kind of experience builder. And then that took me into, actually, I played for the Philadelphia Whiz Kids in that summer for travel ball.
Yeah.
And I played with some very, very good teammates. Some of my teammates are in pro ball now, but it was getting the experience playing that level of baseball and knowing what I need to do and what I need to do to compete and to succeed at, really any level.
And what did that do for you when you went through that and you're ranked in the country, in the top 20 in the country? And then, like you said, you're going on with the Whiz Kids and you're playing with some guys that are in the pros right now. What did that do to bring you into Marywood and give you that success? And do you think you could have played higher than Division III?
Well, I didn't really, I had kind of a tough high school career.
Okay.
I was in my head a lot about just a lot of things, more of a mental case. So, getting to Marywood, I kind of just viewed it as a fresh start.
Yeah.
And just like a new opportunity to, play well. And then coach started me day one. I've, to call myself a 6th year starter is kind of nuts to really think about. But, when you talk about a higher level, I think I could have, but then you ask yourself the question, do I think I would have played? Like, do I transfer out and go to a school and they're like, oh yeah, you'll play. And then what, you go 0 for 4 with 2 Ks in a game and then you're on the bench for the rest of the year. So it's like, it's just kind of one of those things where I just want to stick to a place that I know and that I'm comfortable at and that I know I'm going to get good time at and, just play baseball because that's what we go to college for, right?
Why would you tell somebody to come to Marywood and be a part of this program as well as be a student?
Well, I would say that the team is definitely up and coming, and it's one of those things where I would leave it with a question that is somewhat like something in the realm of like, do you want to be like the next, dude at Marywood, like make a name for yourself at Marywood, because a lot of the records in the stat book they're achievable, playoffs, they're achievable, conference championship with hard work is achievable. And it definitely, like, I know coach, I saw the group me is like 46 kids. And I remember like my junior year, sophomore year, it was like 32 kids, 31 kids, 30 kids. So they're going to have a lot of kids next year. And so there's going to be competition. There's going to be competition inside competition. And it's, I think it'd be a fun time to get involved.
Yeah, coming from Jake Schuster here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of Pacer Pride. Jake, we're going to have some fun here off of the baseball diamond, and it's something that I like to call rapid fire. You get to ask me any 3 questions in the world. I can ask you any 3, and we're going to go back and forth. It could be about anything. We have to answer it. We're on video. We're on audio. You get to ask me first. This is no preparation. I have no idea what he's going to say. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. So anything on your mind, I have to answer it. Go ahead.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Honda CRV, and I'm very happy with it. I worked with Honda for a long time, Honda City of Liverpool. And my first Honda CRV, when I was going to school at Marywood, I drove to New York City, and it actually saved my life the way that they're built.
Huh.
So, yeah, so I'm very proud to have that. I also am looking at having a Tesla with the doors that come up sideways. So I'm definitely looking at doing something like that. My first one for you, Jake. If you could have dinner with any three people in the world that you haven't met yet, who would you pick and why?
I would say, whew, I would say, all right, I would say Bryce Harper,
Okay.
just because I love the Phillies, and he's just, I don't know if you saw by yesterday, but I mean, that was his tying grand slam was just awesome. I would say Bryce Harper. I would say Tiger Woods, because I'm an avid golfer, love playing golf, love Tiger. Me and Tiger share a birthday, so we basically already know each other.
Yeah.
And then I would say Trace McSorley, because
Okay.
I'm a big Penn State fan, and I love Trace. He
Okay.
was awesome.
Okay. Why? Why was Trey so awesome, in your opinion?
I just, he was just a gamer. He wasn't the biggest dude, and he would even tell you too. He wasn't, he didn't have all the arm talents, nothing, but he was just a gamer. He knew how to win, and he was just really competitive about it. And just, his drive and his work ethic in games and how he just never quit was just something that was always, really cool to me. And they had some really good teams that year in his years.
Yeah, fair enough. I like it. What's your second one for me?
If you could live in any state, which would you pick and why?
If I could live in any state, I would probably, I just had this conversation with my fiance. I was talking to her about it. I probably would go back to somewhere where I have lived, which is actually the second home of Wake Up Call, and that's the state of Florida. So I worked down there on an ESPN affiliate. I worked at Walt Disney World. I currently cover UCF, South Florida, Miami, Florida State, high school recruiting down there. I've been covering the Jaguars for this will be 11th or 12th year that I've gone down to their games. So Jaguars, Magic, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Miami Dolphins been to their camp, Tampa Bay Buccaneers been to their camp a bunch of times. So I already have a bunch of connections down there. So I'd probably say the great state of Florida, but it wouldn't be because of that predominantly. It would be because I love the weather. I love Disney, and my family's down. A lot of my family's down there. So I'd say Florida. Let's stick with travel. Tell me a place you've never been that you would love to go to and why.
It's actually funny you ask. I was actually talking to my mom about this yesterday. I would love to go to see Normandy, the beaches in France, just
Okay.
because I'm a kind of you know sneaky history buff. I love it. I love reading about it. And actually, today's the 78th anniversary of D-Day, and I don't know. It's just always something that I would have loved to have gone and seen, because it's one of the biggest warfare movements ever.
Yeah.
And just all the history behind it, all the lost lives, and what the Allied forces gained, and all of that. It's just really cool, and it's just something I would love to go see.
I love that answer. I've never gotten that before, and I think that's really cool. And leads back to our history, as history is obviously important to know. If you don't know where you went, you have no idea where you're going. What's your last one for me?
I'm trying to think of something so random.
Okay.
What is kind of your guilty pleasure when it comes to food?
Good question. Here's my guilty pleasure when it comes to food. I would have to say, huh. I don't really order dessert out a lot, like I will on vacation, but I would
Mhm.
tell you like a 7 layer chocolate cake. Like I want chocolate with chocolate in between the chocolate cake. I want the icing to be thick and awesome. I want chocolate chips on it. I want chocolate sprinkles on it. I want chocolate times 12 on my chocolate cake. So I'd probably say chocolate cake.
I love that. I love that.
My last one for you, I want to stick with food, is you could pick one breakfast, one lunch, and one dinner. They're all different, but you have to eat it for the rest of your life. So what's your breakfast? What's your lunch? What's your dinner? And you can have whatever you want. Like if for breakfast you want an omelet and pancakes, you could do that. But what are your 3 meals you would eat for the rest of your life?
I would go. hmm, I'd go chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast.
Love it.
For lunch, I would probably go. hmm, I would probably say when I was in elementary school and then up to the high school, I was a big peanut butter and jelly guy. So I'd probably have to stick healthy. So I'd probably go peanut butter and jelly with like an apple and a banana, something like that, something keep it easy.
Okay.
And then for dinner, oh, here we go. I would go, I'd go 6-inch cheesesteak and then 6-inch Italian hoagie from Wawa to go with it. Hmm. And then a hamburger
And then a hamburger.
with a Diet Coke to drink.
Okay. I like that. I like that you're like 6-inch this, 6-inch that. So you split it in half, you get the foot long, but you have two different
Yeah,
sandwiches. I like that.
exactly. Because like I love cheesesteaks, but then I love Wawa hoagies, and I couldn't give them up for forever. So why not just eat them both?
No, it's a good answer. And I mean, I'm a cheesesteak fan as well. So it demonstrates exactly what I think, which is actually something that my mom and I did this past week, where I wanted a certain type of pizza, she wanted a certain type of pizza. So we did half and half. And then she gave me the leftovers. So I got some of hers and some of mine. And of course, it took me like no time to eat both sides of that because it was so good.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, Jake Schuster of Marywood Baseball History, setting our awesome history books in such a special way at Marywood University with the Atlantic East, and just overall as a team, being a part of a team that tied the amount of wins ever in a single season as the highest with 22 this past season. So, Jake, thank you for the work you've done. Thank you for everything you brought to Marywood University. And thank you for the time spent today. And please understand that even though you're not seeking a 7th season, you're always welcome here on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It was a great time.